Women of Essence, Internet Radio and TV Network.
Life speaks. It speaks through struggles and success, through music and messages, the preconceived and the unexpected. Whether you are in the depths of the valley or in the midst of your mountaintop experience, everyone needs to be encouraged. Join us as we share stories of strength, testimonies of triumph, and verses of victory. So when life speaks, you'll speak life. Welcome, everyone. You have tuned into When Life Speaks right here on the WOA Network, Women of Essence Radio and TV. And I am so glad that you have joined me this evening. I am your host, Andrea L. Hines, and it is a pleasure to welcome you and give you an opportunity to turn down the volume of life just for a little bit. I hope you all had a wonderful holiday and a safe holiday. And it is good. Some of you are returning to work. Some of you may still be on vacation. But either way, I am honored that you decided to stop by When Life Speaks tonight. And we have a special guest on this evening. And before I tell you who she is, I want to tell you how we met. And it's very funny because sometimes I talk about chance meetings, and you yourself may have had some chance encounters. At least that's what we call them. But the reality of it is there are no chance meetings. These are really divine appointments that God has orchestrated for us and intends for us to use somehow for his glory. Well, I was at CRL Studios not long ago, and I was recording for the YouTube channel that I have. And a beautiful woman was there, just a beautiful young lady. And while we were talking, I realized that she was an author of a children's book. And the children's book was called My Hair is Beauty. And I thought, wow, this is really, really interesting. And she and I began to have a conversation, talked about her book. And because it is in poetry form, you know, that tugged at my heart because I love poetry. I love to write it. I love to read it. And this was an amazing book, and it was just beautifully done. And we got into a conversation about it. And I thought, you know, we as women have such issues. With self esteem and our self image a lot of times. And whenever there is an opportunity to have something that will encourage us and help us to grow stronger in who we are, and especially in what we look like and how we feel about ourselves, then that's an opportunity that I want to take advantage of. And for sure, one thing women always want to have in place is their hair. But it is a struggle. And a lot of us know the struggle is real. you know, Perms and chemicals and all those things that will damage your hair. And now we're at a point where we want to do the natural hairstyles, and sometimes those are even more difficult to maintain than the chemicals when you had your perms and your relaxers and all of that. But whatever way you decide to wear your hair, it is important that you feel good about you, that you feel comfortable, that you feel beautiful, that you know and understand that you are just an awesome creation. And all that being said, it begins early. What better way to begin this journey of self confidence than by starting with a book for a little girl about her hair? My Hair is Beauty. When we come back from our break, we're going to get to know Toyosi Onwemina, and she is the author of this wonderful children's book. And I am excited about her being able to share it with you and to just share some of her perspective and her outlook when it comes to the beauty of our hair. So you stay tuned. If you have a little girl in your life, if you have a daughter, a niece, a cousin, whatever, and she's struggling with making a decision about her hair, or you just want to reinforce how beautiful she is, this may be the show for you because it is a wonderful, wonderful tool. It's an empowering tool so that even at a young age, you can begin that journey of embracing and celebrating who you are. So just relax, enjoy the music for a little bit, and when we return, you will meet my guest for the evening, Toyosi Onwemina. Well, welcome back, everybody. This is Andrea L. Hines, your host on When Life Speaks, right here on the WOA Network, Women of Essence Radio and TV. And as promised, I have a very, very special guest this evening, and I'm going to allow her to introduce herself and tell us a little bit about her. But her name is Toyosi Onwemina. I think I got it right. And she's going to be talking tonight about a wonderful book that she has. So let's welcome her right now. You know what we do here on When Life Speaks. Be sure to send up some hearts and show her some love. And Toyosi, why don't you go ahead and tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Why, thank you, Ms. Hines, for having me on the show. I am so blessed to be here. I am Toyosi Onwemina. I am a mom, a speaker, an author, a physician, a writer. I've been called to do many things, but one of the things that I'm highlighting here today is the book, a book that I wrote for children. It's called My Hair is Beauty. I love writing. I've been writing since I was very young, and when I was younger, I always wanted to be a writer. But I was told that I couldn't make much money as a writer, and so I hatched a backup plan and a career, but writing has always been my first love. So writing is what I do a lot of, and I'm also a physician in my daytime job, and writing is part of that job as well. So it's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for having me.
Well, Toyosi, it's a pleasure for us to have you, and to have someone with such varied careers is just amazing in itself. But I wanted to know, is this your first book, the children's book that we're going to talk about? Is that your first book?
This is my first book. When I was younger, I loved adventure stories, and so I wrote my own adventure story. I wrote it out by hand. It didn't make it very far, so this is the first one that's actually published. Yes.
Okay, well, I was very intrigued by it because being a poet myself, when I first opened it and saw that it had this beautiful rhythm and rhyme to it, I was immediately drawn to it. And why would you mind just reading that first page for us?
Of course. When I was born and nothing stirred, all was quiet till her voice I heard. My name is Beauty, and I am Glory. My name is Beauty, I'll tell your story. Who is Beauty? Who is she? And who is Glory? Could she be me? Its sun appeared out of thin air. The storyteller was my hair.
See, I just love that. I love that. And tell me why did you feel compelled to write this book at this time about hair or have hair speaking? What was your inspiration for it?
Well, I'm so glad you asked me. It really is the backstory really has to do with my daughter, and her name is Joelle. She's 4 years old. And every time Joelle and I do her hair, I make a point of reminding her that her hair is beautiful. And it's something that we're always saying when she's in front of the mirror, and I say, your hair is beautiful, and I believe she's learned to believe that that's true. But I really wanted to reinforce the message, and that's why I wrote the book, because we read a lot of books, and a lot of the books we read, I don't easily find books that speak to her hair experience, which I feel like is a really important experience. And so I wrote this book really with her in mind to remind her that it's not just that her hair is beautiful, but that when we think about the definition of beauty, that her hair is beauty. And that's where the title comes from. My hair is beauty, not beautiful, but beauty.
And that's an interesting choice that you made there in saying my hair is beauty rather than just saying that it is beautiful. Now, at 4 years old, how is she handling it, or has she had to handle any situations at all where her hair was concerned?
Oh, it's so funny that you asked that today. We actually had an issue this morning where she wanted me to do her hair in a very specific way, but she's 4 and her vocabulary is still growing, and so she was having difficulty communicating with me, and she was quite frustrated. But I finally understood. She wanted her hair to fall down and be straight down, and I think she didn't understand that her hair doesn't do that easily. And so my daughter has kinky black hair, and it stands up. It doesn't fall down. And so today was the first day we had a conversation, and I was reminding her that your hair can do that with very special effort, but naturally your hair doesn't do that. And ultimately we settled on a style that she loved and was happy with, but it was important because we're having all those conversations every day. And so many of the things I've written in the book have addressed that, but I think they're starting to become more real to her.
Wow. I was thinking, too, when I was looking through the book, and the book, by the way, has just beautiful artwork. Who was the artist for your book?
I had the pleasure of working with a freelance artist who lives in Mexico. Her name is Diana Galicia, and I was introduced to her by a person who works at my job, and Diana agreed to do the illustrations. I sent her lots of pictures of my daughter, and she actually based the images off of my daughter. So Diana did a fantastic job, and yes, so Diana is an artist that I contracted with to do the illustrations.
I was wondering whether or not some of those, whether or not some of the pictures were based on pictures of your daughter. They're really, really beautiful. And right now, it seems like as women are going back to I shouldn't say going back to, but in a way I kind of feel like that's what we are doing, is going back to our natural styles and natural state. And some people are coming under fire and under pressure about doing that. But I think for women out there where we're having such issues with self-esteem and self-confidence and self-image, that it's really important to start with children your daughter's age. So was that part of the catalyst driving you writing this book at this time?
Absolutely, absolutely. So when I was growing up, and I would say growing up professionally in medical school, that was a point at which I decided that I was going to wear my hair most of the time. And I definitely had a lot of criticism, and a lot of it hurt. It hurt a lot. And part of my challenge was just having this place of frustration of, God, this is how you made me, and why is it that it's not acceptable, and that there's so much criticism that comes from this space. And so part of my writing this book is to fortify my daughter, because my nieces, who are a little older than her, are going through that in school right now, where they're getting criticisms of the way they look naturally. And so part of my goal is to fortify not just my daughter, but children like her, with the remembrance and the understanding that their hair is beautiful right now. And I'm at a very fortunate time in my life as a mother where my word is still the truth and the law. She doesn't question anything that I say. And so I want to take advantage of that, and this book enables me to do it, and I want other people to use it so that their daughters also have that strong sense of self-esteem.
That's wonderful, and it is so important that we begin early. Sometimes we have this a thought process that says that at a young age that our children are not really processing the things that are going on around them. But I think they're processing more than we realize sometimes, and that it is important to pour into them and pour the right words into them to keep them at that place of feeling good about themselves, so that the world will not be able to easily tear them down. You know what I mean?
Yes, the key, I think, is to be intentional, because many of the things we pass on without even really knowing that we're passing it on. For instance, when she was first born, I became more aware of my hair and how I wore it, because if I was telling her hair as it appeared was beautiful, then it mattered that I mirrored that sense of what her hair was doing as well. And so but being intentional about it, reminding her that her hair is beautiful and my hair is beautiful, and actually even going a step further, I let her play in my hair so that she gets a sense of the feel and the texture. So I think we need to be intentional.
Now, do you have other children? You just have your daughter?
I have a son. His name is Jonathan.
Yes. Okay.
And Jonathan has been an important part of this process too.
He really? Tell me how.
Well, he drew a family portrait at the end of kindergarten last year. So Jonathan is 6, and at the end of kindergarten, he drew a family portrait. And I loved the portrait, because in the portrait, I had my head sitting, my hair was sitting at the very top of my head, like a little donut. And that was beautiful to me, because he didn't draw me with hair hanging down. So it made me realize that he's noticed that, well, at least that there are different kinds of hair, and that my hair doesn't hang down, my hair stands up. And so I loved that family portrait, because it was a keen sense of what mom looks like. This is what mom looks like. And it was beautiful.
Oh, that's nice. That is sweet. That's sweet. We're going to take a break right here at Toyosi, and when we come back, if you don't mind, I'd like for you to read just a little more from the book. Would that be okay?
That would be great.
Okay. Hang in there, listeners. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. You know you're with When Life Speaks. I'm your host, Andrea L. Hines, and we are here this evening with Toyosi Onwumene. And she has a wonderful book out, a children's book out called My Hair is Beauty. And Toyosi, would you read just a little bit more from the book for our listeners?
Absolutely. I'm going to read from the middle of the book. And this says, Beauty curls. She likes to tangle. Beauty knots, I must be gentle. Beauty is fine and can be frail. I must take care so she won't bail. My beauty waits so patiently. She asks, oh, will I lovely be? How will I look? She asks with glee. Oh, beauty, wait, just wait and see. Beauty so loves her reflection. A mirror shows it to perfection. Oh, look at me, I do approve. These beads are cute, they're in the groove. The colors, oh, they are so fly. I love the way they beautify. As beauty, yes, this do is me. As beauty, I love what I see. This is a section of the book that talks a little bit about hair and how our hair, my daughter's hair, loves to tangle. And so there's a need for gentleness. And so part of it is teaching a little bit about the hair, but also having her identify within the book what she is familiar with already. We deal with tangles very often. And then also just that sense of I love what I see. I love these beads. I love the way they make me look so pretty. And so I think for little girls it's so important to affirm their beauty. It's so important.
Yeah.
And so just doing that in these few pages.
I think that is wonderful, and it is so important. And I have two little goddaughters, and I call them my squeeze toys. And one of the things that they absolutely hate to do is get their hair combed. So I'm very glad that I'm going to have a book now for them to focus on while they're getting their hair done, and hopefully help to change their perspective that, hair is a wonderful thing, however you have it and however it is styled and whatever is natural and beautiful for you. So I think it's just so good and so good to do at such an early age. But I know you have another book for adults, don't you?
I do. It's called 7 Laws of Black Hair, and that's where I speak to the challenges of wearing your hair, and I talk about different things. But the first law actually is the law of love. And the whole premise of the book that I wrote for adults is really about hair as an instrument of worship.
Tell me more.
Well, the premise of the book is really from John chapter 12, verse 3, and that's a verse that describes Mary, who washed Jesus' feet with her tears. She wiped them she poured perfume on them, and then she wiped the tears and the perfume with her hair. And so it's the only instance I know of in the Bible where hair is used to worship. And so really the whole premise of the book is to help people understand that it's not just hair, it's not just to make you look beautiful, it's to bring the Lord worship. And the way God's created everyone's hair is very unique and very distinct, so that there's a unique sound of worship that your hair gives. And when you release your hair in all of its glory, then it gives the worship it's supposed to.
Oh, wow. Wow, that is beautiful. I don't think that I've ever really heard it described that way, Toyosi. What brought you to that? What brought you to that conclusion?
Oh, goodness, a lot of frustration and pain, tears. I think after an experience one day where someone, made a comment about my hair that really struck at my heart, I remember just going before the Lord and really crying and just asking the Lord why. If I could have chosen my hair, I think I would have chosen differently. And I asked why. I said, why did you make me with hair like this? And why is it so difficult? And I really told him, I prayed, I said, okay, God, if you made it, it's good. So show me the glory of my hair. Show it to me. And that was what I prayed. It's been probably 10 years since I prayed that prayer. And since then, I feel like I've been on this journey. I've had instances of hair loss. I've had some other issues happen, but all along the way, I feel like it's been a journey with the Father to understand that, yes, I really did make it. I made it good. It was intentional, and I made it so that it would give me glory. And I think, God hides the glory of things so that we can find them out.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's been a journey of discovering the glory of hair. I'm not a hairstylist. I have no professional ability at all. But I feel like through this journey I've begun to see hair in a different way. And I realized that I've got to have glory so that I can give him glory. And so my hair is made to be glorious. And I've got to put effort and energy to make it glorious so that he can be glorified in it.
Oh, that is beautiful. That's beautiful, Toyosi. And you know what I'm thinking as you are talking, our program is called When Life Speaks. And life, I always say that life speaks to us in different ways. And I'm listening to you describe your experiences and describing why you wrote this book and why it's important to you. And I'm saying to myself, life is speaking even in that. Even in those instances, even in those situations where there were some tears and where you had to go before the Father and ask him, what is this all about? And he has now turned that into a vehicle where you can speak life to other people who may be going through the same thing and may be experiencing the same thing, and some moms that may not quite know how to handle it. And now they have a tool that can help them. And I think that's amazing. I think that's amazing. Now, I know that you have something coming up on the weekend, I believe. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, absolutely. On Saturday, September 8th, from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m., we're having an event called My Hair is Beauty, absolutely going with the theme of the book. And I believe, so I'm a physician, and part of my work as a physician is education, and I realize that education empowers people. So the focus of this event really is education. I've partnered with stylists and barbers in the community, and they're going to come do a couple of seminars and talk about different things about hair. And people will have the opportunity to have questions. Now, throughout the event, throughout the day, we're going to have different booths and stations where people can go and learn some more about different things about hair. And we also have activities for the entire family. So we'll have bounce houses for the children. We'll have barbers giving free haircuts to all children. And if there's time left over, we'll do some adults at the end of the day. And we'll also have, of course, the free seminars as well. And we're giving free food to the first 150 attendees. So it's going to be a great day and just of family time and learning a little bit more about hair.
And where is this going to be?
This is happening at 4809 Prospectus Drive in Durham, North Carolina. It's at the Sanctuary of Jubilee Christian Church International, right across the way from Kestrel Heights School and the River Church. And we'll be there all day Saturday, and we hope that some people will come out and join us.
Well, I'm going to try to get by there, I know, and I really hope that some of our listeners will try to come by as well. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate what you have allowed God to do through you, and I can hear your passion for it as you talk about it. But tell me, if you had any advice to give to moms who've got young girls who may be kind of struggling with this issue as to how to handle their hair or how to handle the comments that they may be running into as a result of being in their beautiful place, for lack of a better way of putting it, what's some of the advice you would give?
Well, I think the first thing that comes to mind is that there is pain in the offering. But when there's pain in the offering, it's a sacrifice that's worth making. It is hard, and I would say that there is just no question about it. There's nothing I think I can say to make it easy, but that sacrifice is worth it. So as a physician, I always think about health just in general. And this is actually really important for me in terms of health, because when you see yourself as someone who is worthy, who is beautiful and glorious, it changes the way you think about yourself. And young girls are entering into a place of puberty, right, where sometimes they've had enough issues with their hair, where sometimes they have hair loss already at the time that they're 13, 14, or they have a deep sense of shame about their hair. And that's where it really matters. Where people have low self-esteem, then there are destructive tendencies that arise. So that it is hard, it is difficult, but it's so important, especially when they're young, because that's when our impact is greatest. And to fortify our daughters with a sense of strong self-esteem means that they're going to be able to go through those hard teenage years with a strong sense of who they are. And so it's difficult, but we must make the investment. We absolutely must.
I tell you, that is well put, well said, Toyosi, and I really appreciate it. Now tell me this, can the book be purchased on Amazon?
Absolutely. The book is available on Amazon. It's also available on our website, which is myhairisbeauty.com, just the name of the book. And it's available at major online retailers as well, including Barnes & Noble.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, for those of you who are in the Durham, Raleigh, North Carolina, the Triangle area, if you can get by Jubilee Church on this Saturday, that would be Saturday the 8th, and take part in this wonderful afternoon that they have planned, that would be great. I'm sure Toyosi will be there, and you'd love to autograph some books, would you not?
I absolutely will have books on there for sale, and I will sit and autograph as many books as possible, and I'll also hug young ladies, and I'll tell them that their hair is beautiful, because there's always a need for a second voice other than moms as well.
Oh, yes, always, always. Well, I tell you what, I do appreciate you being with us. I appreciate you sharing the My Hair is Beauty story, and I wish you all the best with your book. Listeners, look, you have a young lady in your life somewhere. You've got a niece, you've got a cousin, you may have a daughter yourself, a goddaughter, whatever. Be sure and pick up this book, My Hair is Beauty. You will be glad that you did. Toyosi, thank you so much for being with us tonight on When Life Speaks.
Thank you for having me. It's been a wonderful opportunity.
And we wish you all the best. Stay tuned, listeners. We will be right back after this short break. Certainly hope you enjoyed Toyosi this evening being with us and reading from her book, My Hair is Beauty, and sharing her perspectives on something all women have an opinion about, and that is our hair. To some, it might not seem a very deep topic, but things that have the potential to be damaging aren't always deep. Some of the things that affect us the most speak to us from a single comment, or a name called, or a joke made, or a simple offhanded conversation. But if it hurts, there's a problem. If it causes embarrassment, it's a problem. If it puts us in the corner, and by that I mean those experiences where you just want to hide rather than deal with what's going on, then it's worth our time and it's worth our discussion. Now, I don't know about you. You may be in this category or you may not, but issues of self-confidence and self-image can begin at a very early age and follow us into adulthood. Now, I know growing up, I was always too tall or too dark-skinned or too skinny or
2 something or other. And I didn't have enough self esteem to let it roll. So I managed the pain by making fun of myself before anyone had a chance to. The humor on the outside masked what I was feeling on the inside. And that's how I dealt with the problem. And I thought that was fine because at least my feelings weren't hurt, at least not where anyone could see. But as an adult, I was traveling one time and someone made a comment to me that, unbeknownst to them, cut me so deep and took me back to that childhood place, and all that hurt bubbled up all over again. I realized I had never really dealt with that thing, and I had to, and I did. But there's something else, if I can be just transparent for a minute. I also remembered that when I was growing up, because I didn't feel good about me, I didn't receive compliments well. And I also didn't know how to give them as I should have, or as I could have, to my own daughter. I'm still not totally sure why we insist on putting ourselves down even when other people are trying to lift us up. But I do know this: it doesn't have to be that way. We can enjoy an abundant, joyful life when we are willing to believe the best about ourselves and speak good about ourselves with confidence and authority. It often takes time, but it can happen. And when it does, you will be a finisher rather than a quitter. You will take risks with the attitude of a victor rather than a victim. And you will be amazed at what you can accomplish. I applaud Toyosi for having the kinds of conversations she's having with her 4-year-old daughter and using their relationship to write a book that may help others speak life into the delicate souls of the young and plant seeds of acceptance and affirmation that help to project positive images rather than negative ones. I think this is a perfect place to tell God thank you, which is something you know I like to do before we end any broadcast. And I am just grateful. I am grateful that He showed me how valuable I am through His everlasting loving kindness and tender mercies. And even now, when things happen and the enemy wants to attempt to take me down a path of not feeling good enough, which he will do from time to time, I am immediately strengthened by Psalms 139:14. And it says, I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. And the Message Bible verses 14 through 19 read like this. Oh yes, you shaped me first, inside, then out. You formed me in my mother's womb. I thank you, high God. You're breathtaking. Body and soul, I am marvelously made. I worship in adoration. What a creation. You know me inside and out. You know every bone in my body. You know exactly how I was made, bit by bit. How I was sculpted from nothing into something. Like an open book, you watched me grow from conception to birth. All the stages of my life were spread out before you. The days of my life all prepared before I'd even lived one day. Yes, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Always remember, you have been uniquely designed tall, short, slim, not so slim, light skin, dark skin. You are uniquely you. He has a plan for you and a purpose for you, and he is going to use you for his glory. Celebrate every bit of who you are and encourage someone else to do the same. Well, that's it for tonight. Be sure, if your schedule permits and you are in the Triangle area this Saturday, that you will join Toyosi Onwumene at the event on 4809. That's 4809 Prospectus Drive in Durham, North Carolina. Visit her website, myhairisbeauty.com, and get a copy of her book. Now, if you are the first to send me an email at speaklifewithandrea@gmail.com, that is speaklifewithandrea@gmail.com, and you just put in the subject line, "My hair is beauty," and put in the body, "free," you will get a complimentary copy from us here at When Life Speaks. Last but not least, be sure to inbox me with your email information so that you can receive your special invitation to the Chat and Chew on September 22nd for the release of my new book, When Life Speaks, Inspiration Through Affirmations. And that is put on by An Elegant Encounter Lunch with the Ladies with Lynn Hines. So I'll tell you more about it next week, but space is limited, so don't delay. You got to do it now, okay? Have a great rest of the week. Enjoy every moment of it. And remember, when life speaks, you speak life. Good night, everybody.
When Life Speaks was produced by Film Studios for the Streaming Inspiration Broadcast Network and Women of Essence Radio and TV.